St Michael and All Angels Church has its roots in the 11th century, when the Normans began their programme of church building. Over its 1,000-year history, it's undergone many changes. Its latest has seen repairs to the fabric of the old building and additions that now form part of its rich and ever-moving history.
My name's Gary Stokes. I'm the project manager here at St Michael and All Angels. That came about just over 5, probably pushing towards 6 years ago, when I made a solemn promise.
Well, I'm Wyn Bine and I'm the rector. I've been here 8 3/4 years. I'm just coming up to the end of my time here. I suppose I'm responsible for the building.
I was otherwise occupied at the time with an illness, but our Reverend Canon Wyn Binen, the priest in charge, noticed a corner of the tower becoming somewhat iffy.
Well, I was walking my dog across the churchyard one glorious August Sunday afternoon, and I looked up at the building, looked up at the tower, and thought, that stone looks as if it's sticking out. And what we discovered was that the 4 corners of the tower parapet were moving.
It was September the following year when Wyn arranged an open meeting here, which a small group of people came along. I came along and literally fell asleep in the very front pew. It was a case of, how are we going to do this? And I kind of woke up from half asleep in that front pew saying, I'll look after this, now can I go back to sleep?
What started as 4 corners of a tower became a complete restoration of the building, because we realised once we started, we might as well do the whole thing.
On December the 24th, 2015, at the Nativity service here, we launched that the Tower Friends were up and running. So what was to be over £100,000 project, suddenly at one meeting I announced we was going to target nearly a £750,000 project, which changed the dynamics of the project completely. It wasn't going to be just fundraising events. We needed to engage with various charities, trusts, foundations.
However, fundraising events did play an important role in reaching their target, and a number of high-profile and ambitious events helped not only to raise funds, but raised awareness of this vital project.
We've had the National Lottery Heritage Fund helping us all the way through this. We've had the LG Harris Fund, because our neighbours were Harris Brushworks. So we've ended up with a full-rounded project.
We've actually improved the building, made it much more fit for the 21st century.
So the first part of our project was to re-roof the roof above us in the chancel.
We put new shingles on the spire because they're wooden. The spire's being put back to how it was originally, with a brooch, so that the rain will now fall off the tower instead of inside the tower. The tower will be repaired, the corner, so the parapets will be repaired. The gargoyles will be replaced by modern, brand new corbels, as they're called, including Her Majesty the Queen. Several of the people who've been involved in the project, John Corbett, the Heritage Lottery symbol, which I think is a first.
Lots of lime mortaring work, and that's extended around the whole church, because what was apparent that over the last number of decades, people have used concrete and cement where it should be lime mortar. And I've learned that you do not put cement in sandstone. You use lime mortar for various reasons, not least to let the building breathe.
On the west elevation we had a little bit of trouble, because when I did a point, I try to make sure it's 6 degrees all the time, then stays that all through the night and for the next couple of days. But on the west elevation, when we done the pointing on there, I mean, we pointed, and then I think it was a couple of weeks later, we had that really bad weather where it got down to like -4, -5, and it stayed like it for quite a long time. and then obviously when we went back up there, it was all blown, so all that has to be re-raked out, because sometimes you can scrape back the surface and it looks fine, but it's not. It actually penetrates all the way into the lime, so we make sure it's all chopped back out and redone.
The east end has been pinned so that it's no longer in danger of falling off.
The glass vestibule installed that is to the west door.
Also by the west door, the unsightly clutter of electrical equipment has been housed in a smart cabinet, and the power cables that fed them are now neatly underground.
The west end, we have a path round to the west door. As you come in, we moved the font to its proper place.
Still by the door, in keeping with the religious side of things, but we've been able to change the nave, where instead of having it split down the middle by a very large table, we've managed to move the font, create a brand new welcoming area as people come into the church, and the nave is one now, not two halves.
Could have been so easy to spend £500,000 and for people to come along at the end and say, so what did you do? Because there was nothing to show for it, because it looked like it did before. So it won't look like it did before. It will look probably the best it's looked since, I should think, the 14th century.
So we've managed to keep the church and its history, its heritage, 1,000 years, nearly 1,000 years, still in keeping. We haven't adjusted that, we haven't changed that. We've just added to history. It's a Grade 1 listed church. It's had the roof taken off. You have no idea what you could find underneath the roof, which brought along additional costs. We've had drainage put in all the way around, French drains to soakaways.
Amazingly, in a churchyard, when we dug a hole, well, what did we find? Who'd have thought it? Bones. In fact, complete skeletons.
Being a stonemason, we always get challenges with lifting stone, obviously the health and safety of getting it up there, and even though a stone will look very hard, it's so easy to chip corners off. We haven't done any yet, but you have to be really careful.
Asbestos, that was another thing that we thought we'd got rid of and then found a little bit more. Fortunately, not too much.
There's been a few challenges, but nothing we haven't overcome yet.
Our firm is a firm of specialists, and the thing it's taught me, something I knew, but it reinforced it. You can't do this with amateurs. Sorry, you have to have people who know what they're doing. You have to have an architect, you have to have builders and specialists who know about how to deal with ancient buildings. This is a church that's seen it all, but it certainly saw everything from 1066, and in that time it survived all of that. So has it got a future? Yes, of course it has.
There are a number of new events already planned for the next 12 months, 2 years, that will bring the community together at St Michael and All Angels. And that is, and I won't hide the fact, to generate income for the ongoing maintenance and upkeep. So as far as the future is concerned, the future is looking good in terms of community engagement, what plans are in place, and how we're going to look after this church. I'm now using this opportunity to say thank you to anybody that's helped us along this journey. It's been a fabulous journey. I can't name everybody been involved, but I think we've connected, probably in about 5.5, 6 years of the project, to over 4,000 or 5,000 people.
We don't own these places. We're given them on trust, and hopefully we hand them on in reasonable condition for the next generation. Has it got a future? Yes, absolutely. But what's that going to look like? well, I'd love to pop back in 30 years and have a look.
I'll record it on this tape just to simply say thank you.